Hi, gonna make a simple blackberry wine today. Literally the easiest thing to do. It was the first wine I made last year when I started making wine. No APV on this one, I'm afraid, because well, I didn't do any hydrometer readings last year because I don't understand a hydrometer. That's my husband's job this year. So simple, no chemicals, not a lot of equipment. You can make it, see if you like making wine, because it is a bit of a faff winemaking, and it does take time. The results are worth it, I think, but you could have a little go, and then if you don't enjoy it, you haven't invested a lot of money. Last year's Blackberries, not brilliant. We only got 5 bottles in the end. This year, the Blackberries are amazing. I suggest you get out there. What I've been doing is picking and then freezing a pound at a time. I dog walk, pick a few, clean them, freeze them. So I'll be using frozen Blackberries. You can use fresh, frozen, whatever you want. So let's get to it. Very quickly, this is the equipment that you need. You need a bucket for first fermentation. This is a 10 litre one. This is ideal for 1 gallon. It's nice and easy to fit on your dining room table, on a shelf somewhere. Nice and cool and dark, that you can put it somewhere. Even with your airlock on, it doesn't get in the way. I'm going to be working in a 3 times bigger bulk. So I'm going to go for a 30 litre bucket. Much harder to move around, unfortunately. You also need a lid, which the bucket comes with, a spoon and a airlock. Now you get bubblers, which I will use on the demijohn at a later stage, but this airlock is fine for now. You just want it so that you don't get fruit flies in, and you just need to let the air escape so that the lid doesn't blow off and you don't get your whole dining room covered in wine. So you also need some yeast. I'm going to use a Burgundy red. You can use a Bordeaux, a general purpose red, anything you like. If you've got a brewing shop, go and ask, but don't get too hung up about what yeast you use. So we need to sterilise all our equipment before using. Wash our hands and make sure all the surfaces are nice and clean. I've done that using Milton, the baby steriliser. That's the easiest one I found. Just follow the instructions on the bottle, basically. And then all I've done is, in my bucket, I've put my frozen Blackberries. Now, like I said, I've been collecting as I've been dog walking, so I collect, freeze in £1 bags. So put your 3 pounds of Blackberries in your bucket, and then we're going to add some boiling water. So we add the boiling water to the fruit because it will kill off any natural yeasts, because that will actually interfere with the yeast that we're going to add. So we just add that. So you're going to add 3.5 litres of boiling water. So just whilst I'm waiting for the kettle to boil again, I'm just going to give that a stir. Obviously, hopefully yours won't take as long because you haven't got such a big batch. There we go. Just waiting for the kettle again. There we go, that's the majority of our water in. I have left a couple of litres out just so that I can cool it down afterwards. The reason you have boiling water is to kill the bacteria and the bad yeast on the fruit. but also you need to melt your sugar, and that's what goes in next. So you're going to need 3 pounds of golden caster or golden granulated sugar. So I'll get that. So here we go. Pop that in and stir it in. Let it melt in. That's the last 3 pounds. So we need to stir that through and make sure it's all dissolved. So I've used golden caster sugar. It is more expensive than granulated, but I would imagine that the taste is more caramelly. Yes, that is a word, caramelly. I have done a batch this year with ordinary granulated, so we will be able to compare next year and see if there is a difference. So we'll just get that well and truly dissolved. I can't, I'm going to do it till I can not feel any more bits on the bottom. That's just about it, I think. And then I'm going to add the remaining water. So that's it. So I've put in cold just to top it up to the amount of water I need, just so that I can get the yeast in a bit earlier. Now, again, if you're being technical, you can have a thermometer, and then there's 2 temperatures that you can you have to get it in, but I've never been that technical, to be honest. I'm just going to take out that horrible looking blackberry. I did wash and clean these. I mean, it's not desperate if you get a couple in, but so there you go. I do it by touch. If it's too cold, the yeast won't work, and if it's too hot, you'll kill the yeast. So that's not too bad, but I am going to leave it for probably an hour just to cool down slightly. So I'm going to leave the spoon in there because it's sterilised, and put my sterilised lid on loosely so it can cool down. Just pop this in. I haven't got anything in it at the moment. There we go. Just pop that in to stop any flies going in, and just leave it to cool down for an hour or so, and then we'll come back and we'll pop the yeast in. Right, hopefully it's cooled down a little bit now, so I'm just going to take this off and pop it to one side. Okay, give it one final stir. So now I'm going to add the yeast. So I've got a 5 gram packet of yeast. For your £3 recipe, you'd only need 1.5 grams of this. This will do 5 gallons basically, this packet. So I'm going to use the whole packet. Just make sure that when you open it, your scissors are clean. Sorry about the noise, my dogs have decided to fight. So I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. There we go. Just give it. I did feed them in the break, just so that they still liked me. There we go. Right, so that's going to sit there for 15 minutes. I'll pop that back on there. So we're going to leave that there for 7 days. And when we come back, we need a demijohn, a rubber bung, a bubbler, an airlock bubbler, a piece of siphon pipe, and that's about it. Oh, and a net, a piece of muslin, just to get rid of all the fruit. So that's what we're going to need for the next stage. We'll just leave this for 15 minutes to sit, then we'll come back, finish this, and then that'll be it. Here we go. So we're going to just remove this. As you can see, the yeast has started doing something, and we're going to just give it a bit of a stir. Now, if you're going to take a hydrometer reading, you would normally take off some of the liquid before you put in your yeast, and that would be your first reading, and then your second reading just before bottling, and then you take one reading from the other, and that's how you get your ABV. The other thing I was going to say is some people put in some extras, so you can put in pectolase, which clears a wine. You could put in yeast nutrient, which will give the yeast more to feed on, and you can put in Camden tablets, which is it's a sterilizer that is good, that keeps everything nice and clean, no bacteria growing in there. I didn't use any of that last year, and we had a lovely bottle of wine. We also had some problems in that I didn't degas it, and one bottle exploded all over the hallway. But that's something we can explore further down the line. It depends how much you want to spend at this stage. You know, give it a go, do the basic recipe, see how it goes. So we're going to leave that there, pop that on properly. And we're going to just leave that like that for 7 days. And then we'll come back in 7 days for part 2, when we'll put it in the demijohn for second fermentation. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, click subscribe. The first video I've ever done. We'll see if I make any more. We'll try and do a follow-up for this one. See what happens. Thank you for watching. Bye.